All right, folks, another day, another vlog. So today I'm gonna share some tips that you need to know when buying a brand new home, the questions that you should ask the builder. One of the things that I would take a look at is the water line here. So as you can see, we have a main water line that comes up through here. Then this water line supplies the whole house. Some builders may not include this water line right here. What this water line is for the irrigation system. So you have two valves. As the main line of this water supply that comes in here to the house, you can shut this off when you leave. Then you would leave this on for the irrigation system, so that way your plants do not die. So this is one thing that I would definitely check to see if the builders will actually include that. Now the next thing I would look at as far as for a quality build for a home, framing that the builders will use. Do builders use 2x4 or 2x6? Now for this spec, for this build, as you can see on the exterior here, the builder is using 2x6. There are a lot of builders out there that would use 2x4. There's nothing wrong with 2x4s, depending on the builder and also on the floor plan. So as you can see here on the interior walls, okay, certain walls you have 2x4s and 2x6. But for this particular build, based upon the way that this home is designed, it is required to use 2x6. Homes that are built roughly around the 450,000 range, they'll only use 2x4s. And the reason why is because typically those homes are not that big. Insulation. Insulation is one of the most important things when it comes to building a home. Insulation really helps the efficiency of the home, and it really does save you money in the long run. Typically on the exterior of the home here, builders will normally use R13. You definitely have an option to upgrade to R15. Now, inside the attic, typically builders here in Vegas will give you R30 inside the attic. You do have an option to do a upgrade to an R38, which I would highly recommend. It is money well spent. Another thing that you need to find out with the builder is if you did the upgrade from R13 to R15 on the exterior of the home, does it also include the garage? A lot of times the garage is not included, okay? That's something that you want to make sure. Now, if you're going to be working in your garage, I definitely would do the upgrade on the exterior of your garage. Now, if you do get that upgrade, if it has a second floor, you need to make sure that this subfloor here is also insulated as well. Another thing with the builder is very important. What's included when it comes to energy efficient. I'm going to show you right here. You see this piece of metal right there? That is called a radiant barrier. So that is a piece of foil that's underneath the plywood, helps insulate your home. Now also when it comes to insulation, there are three types of insulation. Number one is batten insulation. Number two is blown in insulation. Number three, foam insulation. You typically don't get the foam insulation here in Las Vegas unless you're doing a true custom build. Some builders will offer the blown in insulation. I prefer blown in insulation versus a regular batten insulation. Another thing that I would ask the builder, does the Smurf tube, is it included to the smart panel box? So now, what I'm talking about is that now we are starting to have fiber optic that is ran to the street. Sometimes the community does not have the fiber optic just yet, but some builders will give you the option at the D mark here where the cables are at, and you can see this is where the Cat 6 is at, but the fiber optics is not here yet. But once it comes to this community, do you have this Smurf tube here that takes you all the way up here? Let me show you, and this should run to your smart panel box, so let's follow it. So as you can see, you have this Smurf tube with this piece of string. So that way, once the fiber optic is ran to the house, then you can have the technician pull it all the way through down into your smart box. That is something I definitely would ask a builder. Is that included? Another thing that I would ask a builder, the foundation. Is it a post-tension slab? Now, a lot of builders will do post-tension slabs nowadays. Now, how to check if the home is equipped and does it come with a post-tension slab? Well, what happens is they actually stamp the concrete. Now, this is where you see the stamp and it states it is a post-tension slab. That's something that I would definitely check, something that I would recommend. Now, what post-tension slab is basically when they lay the concrete, there's cables that cut back and forth throughout the house. They tighten up the cables. So that way when the earth shifts, the whole house shifts together. Now, let's talk about power. Power is one of the most important things. Back here we have a panel box. One of the things that you need to take a look at is the amperage. I believe with this builder, you're getting a 300 amp. Some builders will give you 240. There's nothing wrong with a 240, depending on how big the home is. Now also when it comes to power, depending on the builder, you need to ask, especially if you have a Tesla, can you install a 240 amp? Can a designated line be installed? Now when it comes to a pool, does the builder have the option to run the 240 amp to your pool? But before you run a 240 amp, make sure to contact your pool guy to see what is the requirement of the amperage that you're gonna need. So another thing that you need to ask your builder is the air conditioning unit. What type of air conditioning unit are you gonna get? But most importantly, you need to find out what is the SEER rating. Some builders will give you a 14 SEER. The higher the SEER rating is, the better the efficiency and the cheaper your power bill is going to be. I typically like a minimum of a 16 SEER. When it comes to the condenser, you need to find out how many tons per condenser. If the compressor is only 1 ton, that covers 400 square feet. So let me give you an example. If you have a home that is 2,000 square feet, you need a minimum of 5 ton to cover the 2,000 square feet. Another thing that you need to find out when it comes to the condenser, if you have a 2-story, do you have 2 condensers? Now, typically when you have 2 condensers, it's more energy efficient because you have a thermostat upstairs and you have a thermostat downstairs. During the summertime here in Las Vegas, it gets hot upstairs because heat rises. So that's something that you have to keep in mind. If you only have 1 air conditioning unit, when the heat rises and your thermostat is downstairs, the temperature is going to be off. Your AC unit is going to constantly run, which will cause you more money. You're going to have a fluctuation of about a 10-degree difference from upstairs and downstairs. So an example, if you set your thermostat downstairs at 79 degrees, upstairs may still be 89 degrees. The unit is going to keep running until it hits the 79 degrees. Now, another thing that you need to watch out for is if you have a 2-story home and you have 1 condenser with 1 thermostat, the thermostat is downstairs, understand that Vegas, heat rises. So if it is hot upstairs during the summertime, it may be 89 degrees while downstairs is at 79 degrees. But if you set your temperature at 79 degrees, the AC is going to kick off, but then what happens is upstairs is still 89 degrees. So typically what happens is you'll end up turning it down to 69 degrees. So that way, the upstairs will be now at 79 degrees, but the thermostat kicks off at 69 degrees. but now you're running your air conditioning unit more. So if you have a 2-story home, you want to make sure you have 2 condensers. Or if you have 1 condenser, make sure there's a damper inside of the ductwork. That's what you need to ask for and look out for. Also, you want to see if there's 2 thermostats too as well. One for upstairs, one for downstairs. Because when you have that controlled damper, once the temperature meets downstairs, the dampers fold off and blows more air upstairs to the second thermostat. So there's nothing wrong with 1 condenser, but make sure there's 2 thermostats and also a damper inside of the air conditioning unit. Now also, when it comes to brands, what you'll see out there, a lot of builders are using Lennox or Bryant. My favorite air conditioning company out there is Trane. You won't see them anywhere, especially with new home builds. It just costs way too much money. Then follows up with Lennox, Carrier, Bryant, follows up with Goodman. Then you have other brands out there too as well. I'm not saying in those orders, that I'm just saying that's what I like. But that's just something to look out for. Final thing I would ask the builder is, what is all the warranties that are included and what comes with the home for the base price. Now, if you guys find this video valuable, give me a thumbs up. Also, if you have not had a chance to subscribe to this channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Other than that, thank you so much for tuning in. I'm Chakits Krulsawat with Simply Vegas, and have a blessed day.